You know, growing up, I've kind of always cared about what people think. And as I've been getting older, I've kind of realized, you know, maybe you need to find the time to stop caring about what people think. And I say this because, caring about what people think has taken up a lot of my, energy, time. It's affected my mental health. And it's allowed me to let people basically control me and have me basically do what they want. So, with a lot of things like that, people will take advantage of you if they notice that you care about what they think. Um, it's gotten to a point where it's like, you gotta put your foot down. You have to realize, you need to stop seeking approval from people. Seeking approval really has not done any good, and it's obviously not healthy. I don't think anybody should have to really go out of their way to try to seek approval. If somebody doesn't accept you for who you are, then maybe they don't need you or need to be around you, or maybe they just simply don't deserve you. Um, and it's done a lot of things. When you seek approval, you go out of your way for that person, and it's just like it allows you to be more blind to a lot of things as well, and it causes you to not basically live for yourself. Like, you are your own human being and you should be able to live for yourself and do things that you want to do in life. Um Seeking approval, I'm sure, has done a lot of damage in my life personally. Growing up, I've kind of dealt with like favoritism. um I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but basically, like, always having to try to go out of your way to be the favorite. And it's kind of weird because, like, having those experiences, it's like there was always like places, like, you could, if you one up somebody or was able to do something like more better, I guess, you always could, like, it's kind of like a video game, like, you could, in the same match, you could either be in last place or first place, you know what I mean? Like, you could climb up. So let's say you're playing a video game, for example. I mean, I'm a big Call of Duty fan, so let's use that as an example. And you're playing some multiplayer or something, and you're like, let's say you're in like fourth place. You know what I mean? In the same match, you can go from fourth place up to first just by gaining more. Basically, if you gain more score, you know what I mean? So that's kind of something like that I've grown up with. Is like almost like a score system, pretty much. Like, rank the higher score, you'll be the favorite. You know what I mean? And it's like, mm, no. I'm getting older and I'm starting to realize, f that, fuck that. Like, it's not healthy. First of all, second of all, you shouldn't be playing favorites anyways. Everybody has feelings, and you're gonna disregard somebody's feelings because for your own gain. Like, I find that very messed up, honestly, and that happens a lot more too. It's not even just like in those circumstances. It's like also like in work fields, like, if you want to be the favorite or, like, employee of the month, like, you're seeking approval to try to be on like somebody's like list, like favorite list or whatever you want to call it. Kind of like being the teacher's pet or something. It's like, I don't know, because at the end of the day, because it's like, does it really make you happy to know that you're like the favorite of somebody because you're doing what they want? And then the the shitty part about that is too is that when you're that kind of person, when you do decide to not, like, when you decide to finally just like be like, oh no, I don't want to do that, or you're busy or something, and you can't get yourself to do that or something, it's like you get punished harder than other people because they already know that you were basically living up to their expectations instead of yours. So then they feel like they have like more control and leverage over what you do. And by being like toxic or rude or the silent treatment or whatever it is that they decide to lash out on you on, then they think you're gonna revert back to like, oh please, 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 I want you to like me. I want you to like me. Like I'll do anything, kind of thing. It's like no, 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 that is not okay. Um, like I said, that's something people shouldn't have to deal with. It's pretty shitty for somebody to even think that they have like that power or control over somebody. And like I said, it's mentally it just puts you in a bad state. It makes you feel unliked when it's like, you have more values than just like being somebody's little puppet, you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be based off, oh, what can you do for me, or what are you willing to do for me, you know? So I most definitely don't agree with that, and I really just do think people should stop seeking approval, because if somebody doesn't like you because you're not trying to live up to their expectation, like I said, they simply don't need you. You maybe need to go find another crowd, another group of people that are willing to accept you for you instead of accept you for being a puppet. Simply, I mean, that's kind of how I view it. I'm sure I know there's been people that have gone through stuff like that, and I just think I'm in my time where seeking approval's done with. I know when it's kind of like a learned thing, and you grow up kind of learning that lifestyle, it seems normal, but eventually I feel like you kind of break out of it and just realize like no, because when it kind of is weird, because when I first started to realize it was like when I genuinely didn't want to like do something and I would like refuse and I would get treated a certain way. It kind of stuck with me, and as it kind of just built up over time, that's kind of how I ended up figuring out like they only like controlling me. Basically, it's like they don't even see any of the other aspects of like you as a person or as like a human or like your interest or anything. It's almost like people kind of don't really care as long as they can have somebody to order around. So that's kind of my perspective a little bit on some of the things. And there are some good people out there, I will be honest, obviously. But I'm just saying, you definitely have to put your foot down and set boundaries and not show that you're gonna be willing to put up with anything, because, like I said, people will take advantage of that, and it doesn't matter what you do, it's never good enough. So yeah, if you have any same experiences, or if you have any thoughts or anything, you can go ahead and leave it in the comments. Feel free. I would like to see responses or whatever. But yeah, thanks for listening. Later.